Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. It's episode 83 of What's in My Tumbler, and it's a long one. I'm sorry, but there's a special appearance with my cat at the end. Anyway, we're starting off with Wild Mandrake, and also we finally had to turn off our outside faucet, so I am going to be inside now. This video is going to be a little rough as I try and remember how to film inside, but I've got some stuff ordered that's going to make this a little bit better because this is like the worst faucet in the world. For anybody that's new and wasn't around when I was doing this over last winter, this is a sink that is connected to my plumbing, so I do not want any of the slurry going down there. So to prevent that, I have a plug in the actual sink. I have the towel to absorb any splashing that goes on. I use the pot to drain into directly. I also have a bucket that I'm going to use later. I'm trying to figure out which one I like more. This is all to prevent any slurry from going down my drain. So, if you have questions or issues or whatever, you can make comments about it. But this is how I've done it. Anytime I've had to go and film inside for any reason, this is my process to keep my plumbing from getting blocked up. So back to Wild Manadrake. This is in final polish. So this is coming out of final polish. We'll see how these turned out. It's kind of a mix of a lot of things. It's not as much of, there's like one piece of ocean jasper, very little dragon bloodstone, some mookite, and some crazy Mexican crazy lace agate. And then a bunch of other stuff that was from like some mixed rock batches that I had that I'm not entirely sure what they all are. But so that was a final burnish to make it as shiny as possible. So now we're going to do a second rinse, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to film this. So part of this video is rough because I don't know how I'm going to film it. I don't know how I'm going to edit it. I'm still trying to work out how I'm going to rinse this off. Issues I have with filming inside is I don't think it's very pretty. And that faucet is terrible. But I have a sprayer I've ordered for the faucet, and I think I've got something I'm going to order to make it look a little prettier. So we'll see. Anyway, so this is me sorting everything out. This is slightly sped up. I know I'm not speeding up stuff anymore, but this one is slightly sped up because it was like just a minute of me putting rocks on a towel. Mookite's kind of upper left. That big piece of is ocean jasper. There's some rose quartz and other random things on the right. Mexican crazy lace on the bottom. So we're going to get those dried off. And then I'll show you just a few specific pieces. So this is the ocean jasper. It's a very pretty like blue-green color. I really like this piece. This is mookite. I have no idea what this is. I maybe granite, but maybe not. And then this is Mexican crazy lace. I'll also do a quick close-up of everything so you can kind of see all of it. It all turned out really nice. That one piece I showed, I don't know what it is it could be shinier, but it's still got a good shine on it, which makes me think it's not granite. I initially thought granite, but it got too shiny for granite. And when I tried to identify it, it didn't really come up with anything. So that is Wild Manadrake. All done now, finally. We can move on to other things. Now, we are moving on to Obsidian. So currently, what's in my tumbler is the giant chunk of silver sheen Obsidian that I'm going to be tumbling just by itself before I go back and polish the rest of my Obsidian. And I'm going to give this a decent rinse and then show you what it looks like wet, because after it's been tumbling in stage 2, it's not exactly going to have any kind of a shine to it. But I love how this piece looks. It's actually really, the silver sheen Obsidian is, this is why I hate this faucet. It's either like a trickle or like splashing everywhere and not getting in the bucket. Anyway, so that silver sheen, that's how it gets its name, just looks so cool. I really like it. I hope that this piece turns out. So now we are going to put everything back into the barrel if I can figure out what I'm doing. Like this is literally like me going like, what am I doing now? I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to put this piece back in, and put some more, or put the filler back in, and then I'm going to actually add a little bit more filler. So this barrel is really only about 50% full, which if you had a bunch of rocks would actually be a little bit of a problem, because they would be too much room, they'd be kind of knocking each other around. But since this is only one piece, I'm thinking it's going to work. We will see. I'm also not using as much grit as I normally would, since it's not a full barrel, so I'm only putting in like a tablespoon. Now, if that doesn't work, then I'll just retumble it. I'll figure something out. But this is going in for a soap cycle because it's between stages 2 and 3. I always do a soap cycle between 2 and 3. I don't always do it between 1 and 2, but between 2 and 3 I always do it. So we're going to get this rinsed off again. You can see I'm using a bucket here instead of the pot. The bucket is a little bit higher, so I think it'll film a little bit better. It also holds a lot more, so I don't have to like dump it out between every single barrel. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to film this, so I'm just going to apologize for the quality of the video this week. It's long and it's terrible, but I make up for it. I need to see Momo, so I hear an argument. I had an argument with my cat, and I got on film. Yeah, my ring fell off my finger, so I had to pull that out too. This was a mess this week. Please don't unsubscribe. It'll be better next week. Alright, so putting everything back in. And then I'm going to add in the water. And like I said, I'm only doing a tablespoon with this batch because there's just the one piece in there. And I don't think it would actually use up the grit if I put a full 3 tablespoons in there. So I put a tablespoon of borax, which was probably too much, but whatever. And then I put a tablespoon of the stage 3 grit. I debated putting more in, but then decided not. It really didn't need any more than that. So getting that put back together, and then so that's going to go on the tumbler for a week, and it should hopefully turn out. I might dry it off a little next week and see, because at stage 3 you can kind of see if it's going to shine up a bit, but I don't know, we'll see. And now Fossick. So this is the batch of rocks I got from the Fossick by Miko's Mine subscription box. So Laguna Lace Agate, Artemis Chert, and Moss Agate is what's in here. And I'm really excited about these. These are just, they're looking amazing. If they don't get shiny, I'm going to be very upset. These are, I was told they could all be tumbled together, so they'd be fine. I am going to now, and I realized I forgot to inspect this for chips and stuff, but I think it'll be fine. This is going into final polish, so these will be done next week. So we're going to put back in the barrel. And I know I've mentioned it before. One of the reasons I really like ordering from Miko's Mine is that they cut a lot of their rocks. Not all of them, but a lot of them are cut. And I feel like the cut rocks just tumble better. They round out a lot faster because they're not trying to get through, chips and stuff and cracks. And they just end up with a better look to them. You can see the patterns and stuff. So I'm excited to see how this stuff turns out. I've not tumbled the Laguna Lace Agate or any kind of chert. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. I'm told chert shines up like a mirror. So I'm excited. So this is going in for a soap cycle. If you were watching, you noticed I forgot to put the soap in. And I did not realize it until I was all the way through Walk in the Park. So, yeah, came back and actually put the soap in this time because, it's not going to get clean if I don't put the soap in. And then tried to rewrite soap because it was too wet to write it the first time, so I wrote it now. And so now it's been tumbling. I tumbled these for a few hours. One of the benefits of filming indoors is I don't have to wait for it to get light outside for me to film, so I can actually film it earlier in the morning, and then they have more time to tumble. And then also I had a hard time getting all of the soap out of here, which could be the fact that I'm using ivory soap. I've not had this problem when I go outside because I can actually like spray, but the sprayer I have ordered that should be here should help with that. So it's like a sprayer that you just attach to the faucet, and hopefully that helps and solves my water access issue with the inside. So now we are going to put this all back in. Like I said, I did forget to do an inspection. I was kind of just, I didn't know what I was doing. It was a lot going on. But I didn't like how full it was. It was a little low for me, so I did top it up a bit. I need to order some more of this filler. I don't know what happened to all my filler. I had a bunch of it, and I know I use it and it gets used up, but man, it feels like it's getting used up a lot. So tablespoon of borax, 3 tablespoons of 4 polish. So these will be done next week, and I'm very excited. So now prefacing, because I have an extra barrel before we get into walk in the park, I completely forgot that I was going to need to start a new batch this week until I was literally taking them off the tumbler to do the second rinse. And that's when I remembered, oh yeah, I have to start a new batch. So my new batch was kind of thrown together, and I did not have a name prepared for it. So the name that I put on it can be temporary if anybody has a better suggestion. But we'll get to that later. So this is Walk in the Park. This is flower agate and pigeon blood jasper. And I have not had time to look and try to tell the difference between the two. They look very, very similar to me. I can tell that there's 2 different rocks, but I don't know which one's which. So we get those rinsed off, and now we are going to do what you guys seem to like, is a very long sort of which rocks go where. Not a whole lot of rocks ready for stage 2 this week, but a few. I'm still going to go through all of the rough rocks that I have and get them all through at least 1 week of stage 1 before I start a stage 2 barrel. It just makes life easier later on if I'm not having a bunch of just random rough rocks everywhere. I need to just start mixed batches of like, these are 7, these are 6 hardnesses, so that if I just need to do a mixed batch at some point, I can. I'm trying not to do as many mixed, like just throw random stuff in a barrel and call it a mixed batch like I used to do. They work and they're fun, but I think I do that a lot. Anyway, like I said, there's a few pieces in here that we're ready to move on, but a lot of these are still pretty rough. I think the agate has like a crust on it that's just not really going to come off, and it's never going to be perfectly smooth. So I think I need to accept that and move some of these along that I just keep kind of like putting into stage 1, hoping they'll smooth out. So that little piece of paper keeps getting dumped into this barrel. It's the label. It came off the bag, so I keep it in the bag, and then I just end up dropping it in the barrel. So we are going to put in the water, and the cup with the stage 2 stuff is, here's Momo. He came to visit me, and then I'm going to have an argument with him. I'll be quiet while that happens. Well, now you're in my way. What? You're in my way. So yeah, he's an argumentative little thing, but we love him. He's also the orangest orange cat that ever oranged. He's very dumb. And he tried to drink out of my slurry bucket. So, again. So he doesn't learn. But anyway, these are moving on, stage 1, and I'll need to be less picky in the future. So the new barrel. The new barrel is going to be 2 things. Like I said, I forgot about this and kind of just grabbed 2 things that I knew were similar hardnesses that I had enough of. The first thing is smoky quartz, and I'm going to put all of my smoky quartz in there. And the second thing is rutilated quartz. I could not come up with a good name, and I just kind of, the name I came up with is terrible. So if you have a good name for smoky quartz and rutilated quartz, I would be happy to hear it. And if it's better than what I've come up with, which is not going to be difficult, I will change the name of this batch. The name of this batch is up in the air for anybody that has a suggestion on a better name for it. And so while I get this set up, the name I picked is Smoky Ruts. And I don't, like, it's not the worst name, but it's not a great name. So if you got a better suggestion for its smoky quartz and rutilated quartz, then let me know. So thank you for sitting through this very long, very meandering, not great video. And I hope to see you back next week. It'll be better. I promise.